I'm a Grape, and this is where I live. Somewhere in a place called the Kindergarten. I can't escape this place. It appears that the lock locks from the outside. I have a vine in my backyard that I take care of.
Obtain your working tools, search the tool shed.
We go to the tool shed and find an empty jar.
Empty jars! Yes, give me all the jars.
Not the tool I was expecting. Nonetheless, we head to the well and fill our newly acquired jar with dew.
Filled up 2 jars. Freshen the vine. Use your dew drop near the vine. Okay.
Back at the vine, we put our hands in the air like we just don't care and splash the vine with the dew.
It doesn't look nearly as wilted as before, yet it still refuses to grow. Oh, hey, we have a friend.
Our gardening session is then interrupted by Plum. Plum mentions the vine and how it's not growing. Stop mocking me, Plum. Plum then unlocks the gate for us. Sweet, sweet freedom.
Okay, what do we do here? He has a shovel for us.
Our observation skills are second to none. Once we take our first few steps out into the world, Plum mentions that he has a gift for us from Granny Smith. And yes, the characters in this game are all produce, except for Rana, who is a frog that we'll meet here in just a minute. However, with this gift, we actually have to do some work for it. Off to a place called the Hamlet we go. Naturally, I have a self-identity crisis, and it appears that I also have one in the game.
What are we supposed to be? Are we like a little plum? A little blueberry, maybe. Add it to our map. Hey! Rana. Isn't that like frog in Spanish?
We meet another character who surprisingly is not a produce, but in fact a frog. This is Rana.
You know how they get once the sun sets. So once the sun goes down, stuff happens. Can I read the sign? Spring Hamlet. Hey, we're here. Where is my gift, people? Concord shouldn't wander too far without Plum. So my name is Concord, so I'm a Grape.
Our self-identity crisis is finally resolved in the game.
Hello.
We find Granny Smith, who gives us our gift, which is a pick. The pick is used to whack the environment to gather resources.
Gather items from the environment by whacking them? Oh, nice. Come here, Granny.
I then attempt to whack the granny.
You can't whack a granny. What are you up there? Is that a wild muck?
And soon realize that it's not only for whacking resources, but also for whacking rot.
Let's take on these mucks. Oh, give me those goodies.
Plum then compliments our elite gamer skills and tells us that we can use the dew in our jar that we got earlier to heal our wounds. Before we head back to the kindergarten, I see a crystal ball. I soon realize that these are how you upgrade health and stamina, and although we can't break it now, we will be back for you in the future.
We can upgrade. I think this game's gonna be pretty fun.
I think it's safe to say that we enjoy this game.
I know you're still a little new to the Grove, blah, blah, blah. They're on special wave. What do we get?
When we meet back with Plum, we experience our first core memory. Concord then says something a little interesting, that the rot might not carry ill intent. What is the purpose of the rot, then? Our time in the kindergarten comes to an end as Plum evicts us and tells us to pack up our things and move to a new area called The Bend. We first get a good night's sleep, then in the morning pack up our things, which is only our jar and our sword, and head off to The Bend.
The Bend. Hey, we made it. Okay, we found it.
We are then introduced to a new character who goes by the name of Elderberry, and yes, he is the village leader.
If you're coming, you know it's a big change of pace, but we've tried our hardest to make this a new home for you.
We meet our neighbors who are not too keen on us being there. Seems that we will have to win them over somehow.
Can I chop the grass?
I then make an astute observation.
No, I'm a very weak Grape. I get tired extremely quick.
And in our new home, Rana teaches us more core mechanics to the game.
It's not a home without a pillow leaf to sleep on, of course. You collect any new clothes. Oh, we get new clothes? Okay. For when you want to look your best. For our village storage, you can deposit your harvest into any of these boxes to save them for our town. Got to keep our backpack nice and free for more resources.
After that, we are reintroduced to Elderberry, who doesn't say much at this time, just tells us to help out the locals and watch out for the rot. In the morning, Rana is back and explains the village request board. Pretty much locals will request our help, and as we complete the tasks, we can upgrade that village to unlock more resources, more upgrades, etc. With the first request, we smack those poles which make lights pop up, which will eventually rebuild that bridge. Then there's a request for 4 pieces of glass to be put in the village drop box. We whack this glass jar, get the resources, and complete that task. While we enjoy a nice stroll on the beach, we meet Fuji. Fuji is the village architect and tells us he is off to a place called the Summer Bar. Sounds like there's a new town for us to explore in the future. As we try to head south, the lilies are too weak to walk on, so again, looks like we will have to come back here after some more progression. We pick up a shield from Rana, but honestly, we never use it again after this. It's just easier to attack the enemies quick, so they can't attack us at all.
I thought I wasn't supposed to hit. Oh!
We then meet Tarong, who is the gatekeeper to a place called Winter Glade. Tarong tells us that Winter Glade is only open to guardians at the moment, which we are not. At least not yet. After a long day of fighting rot and gathering more resources, we have a quick chat with Plum, who finally tells us the truth. He tells us that he is off to Winter Glade and that we are cut off from a place called Autumn Town. We talk more about Winter Glade, and Plum expresses that he is terrified to go. He goes on to say that every village lives in quiet pain. While we are still processing everything that happened that day, and out of nowhere, Plum declares us as the official guardian of Spring Hamlet. We are just a grape. Without time to answer, Plum then asks us to sit with him on the bench before he leaves for the Winter Glade.
Alright, Plum. I gotta go upgrade.
Core memories have various combinations that either increase or decrease health, stamina, luck, speed, damage resist. I think you get the picture. We see our village get upgraded from the
nice.
tasks that we did that day.
Oh, we did that as well. And we did that third.
In the morning, Elderberry tells us that Plum has left for Winter Glade and that all of Plum's duties are now ours. Yay. We also learn that by completing tasks, the villagers will put money in our mailbox. I suddenly have an urge to do more tasks. Elderberry says that as we build more, the rot will grow more as well. Elderberry ends the discussion by saying we are brave and cool.
Oh, Elderberry.
With our new understood guardian duties, we set off to help the village. It does not look good for the village.
Oh, we got a red money.
What better way to start off this journey as a guardian of the grove than to stop by Granny Smith's shop and upgrade our pick?
So we do more damage?
While gathering more resources on the beach, we run into Maraschino,
Hey-oh, what's going on?
who asks us to find 2 glass lenses so he can repair his goggles. We accept. Next on our upgrade list is our precious jar. We upgrade it for 1 additional use. Before going to bed for the night, we show a couple of rot that there's a new boss in town. We soon realize that 3 stamina is not a lot of stamina. That was painful. The next few days as Guardian follow a similar pattern. Gather resources, help out villagers, and fight back the rot. We aren't the strongest grape on the vine, but one day we will be a force to be reckoned with. Until then, we only have 3 stamina, which makes fighting and gathering resources painfully slow. If you're watching this and you realize, hey, you only have 2 stamina, that's right. You realize that sooner than I did. I forgot I had picked a new core memory, which didn't give me a +1 stamina boost. So instead of 3, we now have 2. Thanks for watching. At about midday, we make our way back up to the shop area and find Elderberry. Turns out our diligent efforts have paid off and the library is reopening. However, there's still work to be done. We learn that there is rot in the basement. A new dew is needed and I have been called to the front lines to gather the needed ingredients. We head directly over to Marsain, the dew expert. To make the new dew, 5 sap will be needed. We do the dew. This is an easy ask, however, because of our expert resource gathering, we already have enough sap in the village storage. We collect, we deliver.
We have the glass lenses. We'll give it to the strawberry, or the cherry. maraschino.
Before heading back to the library, we deliver the 2 glass lenses to Maraschino, who then vows his loyalty, and now we no longer have any rot in the bend, thanks to Maraschino. Check and mate. Next we have a lovely chat with the neighbors, and they'd like us to take care of a few oozes, or rot as they call them. Cheekily, I speak to them immediately after their request because I've already taken out a few rot. And, sure enough, they accept. As a reward, we are bestowed a pocket watch. This just adds a graphic in the top left letting us know which cycle of the day we're in. Focusing back on the library, we soon realize that this should be more of a museum. We are tasked with bringing in various resources to complete the collection. After we drop off a few resources, Elderberry calls us over and says that we need to go into the depths of the library to fend off the rot and collect spores that are only found in the library basement. These spores will help us cross the lilies to a new area. Our first task that truly makes us feel like a guardian. We need to complete a series of puzzles as we traverse deeper into the rot-infested basement.
Oh, I turned on some. Oh, I moved the bookcases. Okay.
Eventually, we are face to face with our first boss fight, the bookworm.
Oh, it's a bookworm. This is our first boss.
Needing to dodge the ooze that falls from the ceiling, while narrowly avoiding the spores the worm shoots from its mouth, we die. We spend the next few days living our life as Rocky, training and getting stronger for when we fight the bookworm again. As you can hear, I'm taking this training very seriously and pounding my keyboard fairly aggressive. Having 3 stamina is the pits. Apparently, I didn't train as much as I thought I did. Days later, while editing this now, I see that we still only have 3 stamina. I am my own worst enemy. Luckily this time, we get our sweet, sweet revenge on the bookworm. Spores obtained. Also, we broke our first crystal ball, which gave us some upgrades.
Oh, I can. What was that? Whoa, hold on. Whoa. What did we get? Concord grows, +1 mind, +1 in max HP, +1 max stamina? Concord, you go, little buddy.
Making our way south to the Summer Bay, we meet back up with Fuji. Fuji tells us that he's looking for driftwood to make some upgrades to the hamlet. Then he says that we can stay in the lighthouse as long as we take care of the rot. Making our way to the lighthouse, we first smack the mailbox and collect a whopping 11 money. We evict a few squatters and enjoy our new home, complete with indoor pool. As we explore the new terrain, we smack a bottle and find another crystal ball that we are not strong enough to break yet. We whack an umbrella. The next day, Fuji tells us the history of the lighthouse and how it was used by the locals to help guardians find their way back home. He then says that guardian after guardian continued to go missing and has yet to make it back home. Where did they go? Exploring the summer bar more, we find another dew expert.
Heals 3 metallic dew.
Fuji then introduces us to the new village elder, a cactus. Or I guess I should say cacti because there's just one. He tells us of a quest that he was hoping Plum would help out with. The quest is very dangerous and involves finding the architect of Summer Bay, Woody. We're starting to think that this cacti doesn't think we are capable of bringing Woody home. I've never wanted to prove a cacti more wrong in my life. We then learn of a new tool we need, a dowsing rod. Continuing on, we accept a favor for the village blacksmith. This is how we will upgrade our weapons even further. We then purchase a backpack and a fancy new hat from the store. This sea mollusk blocks our way to a creepy looking tree surrounded by vibrant coral shoots. The mollusk informs us that there's a terrible beast at the bottom of the dungeon. Continuing north, we meet Koki, who needs help pulling some plugs so that the dams will open and not flood over. Koki gives us the dowsing rod, hook, line, and sinker. The dowsing rod is now ours. Examining this statue reveals the guardian, Blue. This unlocks new core memories to use as perks. Again, this has me thinking, where are all the guardians? Experimenting with the dowsing rod, we learn that we can pull up resources from the ocean floor, the rarest of these being a crimson shell.
Oh, we got a, wow. Got a crimson shell, okay.
We then purchase a repair kit, stick it on this bridge, and fill it with succulents so that Fuji can repair the bridge by morning. After that, we add more resources to the library. This area took me the longest to finish. I was determined to upgrade this village all the way. Oh, how naive I was. I will spare you all the details. We did not upgrade the village all the way. We did, however, use the new built bridge to talk to Rio. Looks like we found out where Rana is from. Rio thanks us for fixing the bridge and informs us that Woody is in need of desperate help. He is trapped at the bottom of that rickety old tree with the pretty coral. Back at the cacti,
Oh. Can't fish a cactus.
we hear more of the old guardians. Years ago, the guardians set out to get more resources for the village, but never returned. The cacti also mentions that the only two guardians come around now are Plum and Mandy. This is my first time hearing about Mandy. I tell the cacti that Rio said Woody is stuck in the waterlog. The waterlog is just the name of the tree with the coral surrounding it. I guess Woody went to collect driftwood and never returned. Now, with the cacti's blessing, we descend into the waterlog. Similar to the library dungeon, we have a series of puzzles to complete. By using the dowsing rod, we lift up these plugs, and when we do, a bridge appears at the top. We do this enough times and reach the terrible beast we have heard so much about. Fighting the tentacles and dodging the gas bubbles allows us to attack the samurai-looking octopus directly. I should also mention that we are now a grape with an umbrella as a weapon. What a time to be alive. Taking out the samurai cephalopod, the doors open and we rescue Woody.
Woody!
Woody and I are pretty good friends now after I've rescued him from the dungeon. I didn't know Woody was a fish. If Woody is the village architect, stay away from my house, Woody. Also, we pick up some driftwood and break another crystal ball. Another successful day. Having finally earned the respect of a cacti, we can move on to the next village. I almost unsubscribed from my own channel with how many times I said cacti in this section of the video. Please don't. As we head back to the hamlet, Elderberry mentions that Fuji is waiting for us at his workshop. I'm not sure why we do this, but we bought a new shield. And this is the only time we use it. Top-notch gaming. When we meet up with Fuji, he has a plan to rebuild the lift between Hamlet and Autumn Town. Of course, that means we do it all. First, Fuji asks us to cleanse the place of all the rot. There are literally only 3. But let me tell you what, the hitboxes on these rot is almost 0. We report back to Fuji, who now directs us to build a repair kit and place it by the lift. We then get distracted and explore more of the summer bar. We find another guardian statue. This guardian goes by Hop, very creative. We harvest some wax from the garden. Odd. And attempt to break a crystal ball, but turns out this one requires a certain weapon type. We then continue to help the village. We deliver this package so fast that even Jeff Bezos left a like on this video, and continued leveling up the villages. We also leveled up ourselves a few times. Self-care feels good. Remember that repair kit we put by the lift to Autumn Town? We finally got around to putting the required resources in, so now Fuji can repair it and it'll be ready by morning. We do a little bit more exploring and find a new guardian statue. This one is Cayenne. More core memories secured. We then snag a quick upgrade from Granny Smith. Our pick is now +2 attack. Nice. We continue to build our reputation as Guardian of the Grove and upgrade the village a bit more. Now, it's time to take the lift and visit Autumn Town. We are somewhat welcomed by Rappa the Radish, who tells us that we should go talk to more villagers to understand the situation. We then meet Calabasa and Squasha, who I'll be honest, I did not expect to be this large. They tell us there's something going on in the sewers that's causing Autumn Town to be in a drought. Dilford the Pickle is a lovely gentleman. He says we are green as grass. My pickled friend, we are a purple concord grape. After teaching Dilford about colors, Dilford gives us a key. Not sure what it opens yet. We deliver some pith roots to Calabasa and Squasha in exchange for a new tool, a sickle. After managing our inventory, we call it a night after a long day of helping the locals and gathering resources. To reward ourselves, we splurge and buy a new hat to fit in better with Autumn Town. Yeah, now we look like a local. With the town in better spirits, with all the work we've done, we decide to explore the sewers to try and solve the main problem, getting the water turned back on. I don't know if Dilford was just playing tricks on us when he gave us that key, but it appears the key he gave us does not work in the sewers. Darn you, Dilford. So we go to bed angry. In the morning, Rappa tells us that we should go and have a chat with the village leader. Apparently, the relationship between Autumn Town and the hamlet is in the dumpster. Talking with Rappa more, I don't think the village leader will be too happy to see us. We go anyways. As we make our way south to visit the village leader, we see another guardian statue. Meet Kane, the very first guardian. More core memories unlocked. While chatting with Haubia, this is a produce I don't know how to pronounce. We confirm our understanding that Autumn Town and the hamlet are not too keen with one another. He then asks, no, he demands, that we take yet another key and go down to the sewers and solve the water problem. If we are successful, the trade routes between Autumn Town and the hamlet will be reopened. There we go. Then heal. Oh, we can't. Breathe. Heal. Nice. Oh, there we go. That was way too stressful. It was stressful, but we are indeed successful. After hearing of our success, the village leader is quite pleased. Because we are such a good guardian, we share our due with this villager. Back at the store, we get a shovel. Watch out, Dirt. It's planting time. Yes! We got our shovel. Dig into garden plots. Yes! Weary from the day's activities, we head back home and get some rest. In the morning, we take stock of our inventory. We have a lot of resources now. Refocusing on the main quest, we head back down to the village leader. It appears our efforts haven't gone unnoticed and the trade routes are getting reopened. We try to keep up with the village elder, but he's very fast. As we get closer to the hamlet, the two village leaders are catching up and laughing just as old friends do. Everything feels right again in the world. We are told that we need to go chat with one of the villagers in the docks. I've seen enough movies in my life to know that the docks is not a safe place. At the docks, we meet Negi. Apparently, I don't eat enough vegetables because I don't even know what vegetable Negi is. Turns out our hard work across the hamlet, the summer bar, and Autumn Town has increased our reputation enough to merit an invitation to the Winter Glade. We don't dilly-dally and we head over to the Winter Glade immediately. Tarang says he's been waiting our arrival and that Winter Glade is covered in lots and lots of snow and that it might be a while before I'm able to come back to the hamlet. I say, let's do it. Ooh, King of the North. First thing we see in the Winter Glade is an ooze living its best life with a snow hat on its head. How lucky I am to finally be in the Winter Glade. We meet Kolu, who tells us that Plum went into the mist and should be back soon. Kolu gives us directions and we make our way to the mist. Moments later, panic sets in as Negi tells us that Plum still hasn't come back from the mist. I've said mist a lot. Apparently, we aren't in too much of a hurry as we first go to the beach. We eventually meet back up with Negi, who tells us the mist is a mysterious place, and that we are at risk the longer we stay in it. And apparently, there is no telling which way is out. This is true as we test it out and we try to exit the same way we came in. But, mysteriously, we are teleported somewhere else and cannot find the exit. A bit later, we do end up making our way out. Not really sure how we did that. We then meet Ollie, who appears to be a wizard. The wizard says that the frost in the mist does not affect us. Negi says that the mist accepts us. Mist, I too accept you. Back inside the mist, we attempt to look for Plum yet again, making turn after turn until eventually... Plum! Buddy! How come I can't interact with you? Frost slowly creeps up the sides of their body. The snow is cold, but loose. It parts easily from Plum's frigid form. We carry Plum to safety. We are a strong grape. Outside of the mist, Negi urgently tells us to take Plum to the hot house. We do so with the utmost care.
I can oh! There, buddy, I dropped you. You okay? Probably didn't feel anything with all that frostbite, huh?
And gently place Plum in the bed to rest. In the morning, we go check on Plum. Now with more energy, Plum tells us that we need to venture deep into the mist and look for Mandy, another guardian who is in trouble. To help us in our perilous mission, Plum gives us ice skates. Thanks, Plum. We then dress for the occasion. And off into the mist we go once again. Well dressed this time, I might add. With our new ice skates, we can now solve these puzzles as we bounce off the fences and make our way to these stones, with which we need to remove the overgrowth. After we do this a handful of times, we finally meet Mandy, who doesn't look so good. We chat with Mandy, or maybe the spirit of Mandy, who tells us to proceed north, that she's been waiting a long time for us. Then the spirits of all the past guardians appear and we talk to each of them. They express their gratitude and offer encouragement as we fight the good fight. The conversations are mostly about rot and how the rot seeks out the island's mana to finally lay the island to rest. Very rude. This is a very confusing time for me as one of the guardians says, "The rot's cause is just, and though their aggression can be perilous, we have no choice but to aid them." Another speaks and commends me for looking to the past to seek the way forward. Mandy then says she's created a path forward for us with the help from the other guardians. We approach her body and remove a sword. With the new sword in hand, we can cut through the rot and travel further north. The ice skates really do come in handy. Thank you, Plum. Talking with Mandy again, she now directs us to go to Plum and tell them that she is safe and happy where she is at. I can't help but notice the 3 platforms. Memories of playing Zelda quickly rush into my head, and I assume we need to go get 3 different objects and place them in the platforms to proceed. Plum says he can feel Mandy's energy from the sword and takes us to the library of Winterglade, where we talk with Ladidi. That is fun to say. Ladidi says that the giant creatures we fought, the bookworm, the samurai cephalopod, and the sewer gunk, help prevent the rot's entry into the grove's heart. I am now very confused why we had to fight them. These creatures were given pieces of the island's life source by Mandy and her people many years ago. The intent was to grow more mana. As the rot has persisted for many a moon, the great beasts have slowly become corrupted. We then learn that each great beast holds a shard of dew, which is what the rot is after. And as long as the shards of dew are held away from the grove's center, the rot cannot reside in the center. That makes sense. We are then told that Ladidi will speak with the town leaders and open up the grove's center for me. But first, I need to go and get the shards of dew from the 3 beasts. Now, I am very confused. If we bring the shards together at the grove center, doesn't that mean the rot can now enter? I guess Plum and Ladidi know best. Before obtaining the 3 shards, we first complete each of the libraries. When a library is completed, a unique item of clothing is the reward. We don't use any of the clothing rewards. Now, let's go get some shards. I forgot I upgraded the sword I got from Mandy, and now vines appear after each attack. We realize that each great beast is now harder than before. We navigate our way through each dungeon and obtain the shard that each contains. Samurai cephalopod, the sewer rot, and the bookworm. With all 3 shards of dew, we head back to Mandy. We place the stones, and into the unknown we go. I then try to stab this gem in the tree with my umbrella. It's not very effective. But by using the sword we got from Mandy, a character called the Grove awakens. Without any introduction, the Grove attacks. We defend. Giant Grove 0, tiny Concord Grape 1. Having been victorious, we are then teleported to a strange world. We then have a heart-to-heart with the Grove. The Grove has lived for many years, protecting the crystal tirelessly, but since our battle, the Grove is now free. The mana crystal, ever flowing of life, now being departed from its host, is almost relaxing, says the Grove. The rot will be able to maintain the balance where I was never able to, the Grove tells us. I don't know what that means. He explains that he's kept the rot waiting long enough. As the rot starts to appear at his roots, they start attacking. The Grove feels safe knowing that the crystal is now in our hands. He trusts that we will use it to bring prosperity to all the villages and even the rot. So is the rot good or is the rot bad? We say our goodbyes and the Grove departs. We then have our grape spirit reunited with our grape body, and we are back in the kindergarten.